Hello, my name is Kimberly Weitzman. I'm the QA and Training Team Lead at BioQuest Psychiatric and Behavioral Solutions. The purpose of this training is to review a handout titled Documentation and Job-Related Reminders for Nursing Team Leads. This is quite a lengthy document, so I would recommend that you either have a printout of this document to take notes on or have paper and pen to take notes on. So please feel free to pause this video and go grab those items if you need them, or if you have what you need to be successful. Let's go ahead and get started. So our first reminder on this handout is that this training and this handout is for yourself as well as for those that you supervise. These are specifically reminders for team lead positions. There's also a separate training that is just for nurses. So please be sure to view both that training as well as this training if you are a nursing team lead. Okay, starting with attendance and time off. Ensure all PTO requests are responded to in advance in Paycor, and then communicate to employees that these have been approved. Provide same-day communication to your supervisor and HR when items require HR notification, such as referencing medical conditions, more than a day of illness, bereavement, jury duty, absences with occurrence, or no communication. Email HR to ensure they have been notified of any employee's bereavement, jury leave, or medical absences. HR will lead these events with employees to provide required documentation. Coordinate closely with HR on days employees will be out and anticipate the date of return to work. Moving on to payroll, billing, calendar, and productivity. Run payroll services summary with productivity report from SmartCare for all team members. Review payroll with services summary with productivity reports and update the IDD productivity spreadsheet 2024, IDD nursing productivity, LTC productivity spreadsheet, nursing productivity 2024, and I would check with your supervisor about what to do in 2025. Let me just go ahead and demonstrate real quick how to run that report that we're talking about so that we are all on the same page. Okay, so to run that report, once you have logged into SmartCare, you'll want to come to your search feature or your magnifying glass. If you just start typing in the word payroll, the report that you want is payroll services summary with productivity by office. Remembering that our payroll weeks run Sunday through Saturday, you'll enter your start date and the end date that you would like to look at. You'll choose the staff, or you may choose multiple staff that you would like to look at their productivity for. You'll click View Report, and then what will populate is something that looks similar to this. On the left-hand side will be all of the clients that the staff met with, the date that they met with them, program they're assigned to, were those notes signed according to policy, yes or no, the procedure that was provided or the service that was provided, or if it was a payroll entry, what type of payroll entry was it? Was it paid time off, or was this time that the staff has worked? What status is that item in? Has it been completed? If it was done today, it would say signed. If the note was started but has not been completed, it may be in the show status, or if there is an error, that will be indicated there. How long did the service last, or how much PTO, or how much time did that person work if they were hourly? How does that coordinate over into their payroll hours or into their productivity? So that is how to run the report. Please be sure that you know how to interpret this report as well as run it. And please be sure that those that you supervise also know how to run this report and interpret that information. Okay, so moving on, notate on the productivity spreadsheet if policy was not followed, if productivity goal was not met and why. Have a supportive conversation and complete a success plan. Submit to your direct supervisor by noon on Tuesday. Ensure that SmartCare calendars and payroll blocks are accurate and that SmartCare PTO blocks match Paycor PTO and are approved. Check notes on Monday for completed status, like I just showed you, overlaps and gaps in calendars of staff, and address those concerns. Work with staff To complete any that are in error status no later than 12 noon on Monday, notify supervisors of barriers and plans to overcome those barriers. You will also perform weekly progress note audits, which we will outline in more detail in a few minutes. Okay, moving on to caseload expectations and compliance. First item is that you will pull and review every staff SmartCare caseload report during every supervision. And here I will demonstrate how to run that report and point out a few things that are on that report. Okay, so to run the caseload report, once you have logged into SmartCare, you will come to your search function or that magnifying glass. Just start typing in the word case, and the report that you want is caseload report my office. You will simply find the staff member that you would like to run the caseload on. You may leave it set to all programs, and then you will click view report. What will populate is something that looks similar to this. On the left-hand side will be the client's names, their contact information. You'll then start to see information about their insurance, the date that they were last seen by that staff member. It will calculate the number of days that it's been since the client was seen. If there is a future appointment scheduled, that will populate here. Under this heading is the most recent assessment. This is the diagnostic assessment, not the psychiatric evaluation, so please take note of that. The most recent treatment plan. Please also note that this is the clinical treatment plan, so this would be for therapy and case management, not the medical treatment plan. And then lastly, you will see information about if this client is assigned to a facility, if this is a day in employment services client, or if this is a residential client, which program are they assigned to. So please get familiar with how to run this report and how to interpret it. Okay, so as you're looking at that caseload report, ensure that your staff have enough people on their caseload to meet their productivity goals under their job description, and that they are meeting the level of services needed as is indicated on the client's treatment plan. Please ensure that your clinician is assigned to their caseload in SmartCare. Okay, moving on to documentation expectations. Starting with the medical audit report by staff. You will pull and review every staff's medical audit report in SmartCare and monitor the following items. So first I will show you how to pull that report, and then we will go over the individual items that you're looking for. Okay, so to pull that medical audit report by staff, once you have logged into SmartCare, you'll come again to your search function for the magnifying glass, start typing in medical. The report that you want is probably medical audit report by staff, although you may also search by program or by individual client. Once you choose staff, you'll just simply choose the staff member whose audit you would like to look at, click view report, and then what will populate is something similar to this, where you will see all of the clients assigned to that staff member on the left, the program they're assigned to, and then there are many different headings of items that are being looked at on this particular audit. So just looking at one of them, for example, this is the overall score looking at intake. And what is looked at specifically at intake is did either the intake person or the staff assigned to this client collect information such as address, phone number, ethnicity, race? Did they have an emergency contact listed, yes or no? So you'll see some of these will be marked yes or no. Other items may not be applicable to the client, and so you may see them marked NA. So you also will see items like when was their last psych service provided? Has there been psych services provided within the last year? Here's where you could find when their last medical treatment plan was created. Continuing on, was there a medical treatment plan flag entered? Yes or no? Does this client have a safety plan? Yes or no? And then again, some more flags about what type of client this is. So again, please be familiar with how to run this report and interpret it, as well as have your staff be familiar with how to run this report and interpret it. But let's get some specifics for what you're looking for on this report, as is on the documentation reminders handout. So you want to ensure all clients have a current medical treatment plan in their clinical documents signed by a nurse practitioner. These are renewed annually, or if the goal has been achieved, you will initiate a new goal. Ensure all clients have an accurate medical treatment plan flag date that matches the medical treatment plan date. Any overdue treatment plan is an immediate success plan and notification to your supervisor, as client services cannot be billed without a current medical treatment plan. Okay, moving on to evaluations, both initial and annual. Track that all clients are getting their yearly evaluations. IDD Nursing will update the compliance spreadsheet when evaluations occur, and you can access that by this link here from the document to the VPBS Nursing required document tracking form. Notify your nurse manager, who will work with central scheduling for psychiatric evaluations when they are past due beyond 12 months. For medical treatment plans, coordinate with your nurse manager to ensure that your team is meeting expectations of quality and timeliness of assessment, treatment plans and updates, and discharge summaries. Ensure that all corrections needed are returned within 5 business days by your team. Okay, moving on to safety plans. Ensure that all clients with a history or evidence of suicidal homicidal ideations have an active safety plan that is reviewed in session and is updated in SmartCare. And just to be sure that we all know how to do this, once you have logged into SmartCare and once you have opened the client chart to do a safety plan, you would come over and hover over the client tab. You would then hover over clinical documents, click on safety plan. If the client has never had a safety plan before, you will then be brought to the blank form to complete and enter the safety plan. If the client has had safety plans before in the past and you're creating a new one, you would simply click on the new button. If a safety plan has been completed on paper, that is fine. It will eventually, though, need to be entered into the client chart as soon as possible using this process. Don't forget to sign and save the safety plan. Okay, progress notes. Monitor staff completion of all billable and non-billable progress notes within 48 hours of delivery of the services. That is our policy. Develop a success plan for those not meeting expectations on quality, timeliness, or completing all required notes. Continue to teach, reinforce, and support your nursing team on their assessment skills to support the treatment plan goals and objectives within each progress note. Moving on to discharges, ensure that staff complete and know the reason for discharge. Please use the discharge instructions for submitting an agency discharge, which would be for when a client passes away, moves away, stops all ViaQuest VPBS services, or a program discharge, when a client requests a discharge of services but remains open to other ViaQuest VPBS services. Do not select administrative close. This is when the agency is closing services to a client and can only be used with the approval of the nurse manager, the state director, or the executive director. And I will just take a minute to show you what that looks like and what area we're talking about specifically within the discharge. Okay, so once you have logged into SmartCare and you have your client chart open, you're hovering over clinical documents, clicking on discharge. You may need to do a new one. And the specific area that we're talking about here is the reason for discharge. So under the transition discharge reason, this is the specific part of the discharge that we're talking about. Be sure to select the correct reason for discharge. And if you're unsure, please check with your supervisor as far as what the reason may be for a discharge. Moving on to incident reporting. Ensure and reinforce that your staff are reporting to the incident hotline all unusual or critical incidents within 1 hour of discovery. Ensure that they completed the incident report or witness statement and submit it by the end of their shift. Verify they have sent it to the on-call hotline supervisor, nurse manager, and state director by CCing all in an email before the end of their shift. Follow up and review the incident in the next supervision with the staff to provide support and clinical guidance. And I will just make a couple comments about incident reporting. So please remember that there is a reporting guidelines training that you need to take initially as well as annually, and your people that you supervise also should be taking this training initially and annually. So if you need to refresh your memory on that information, please do so. Also, during new hire smart care training, all new hires are provided with these what to report cards, which is a nice overview of what to report, what types of incidences may be reportable, as well as the timeframes for reporting. Here is the incident hotline phone number. So I'd recommend that if you do not have this number in your phone, please pause the training right now and add it. Phone number is 844-487-1265. If you'd like more of these cards for yourself or for those you supervise, please get in contact with your supervisor, or the trainer in your region would be able to provide you with some more of these for yourself or for those on your team. So mileage supplies requests. Approve submitted mileage by the 5th of the month. Mileage over $300 per month needs to be reviewed with the next level supervisor. All supply requests should be made to your supervisor and approved by the state director. The state director will then order the appropriate medical equipment for business needs. Okay. Communication, supervision, team meetings, and training. Ensure your staff are attending their business line specific meetings to streamline collaboration. So for example, LTC meetings, VDES or VRS meetings. Ensure monthly collaboration meetings are scheduled and attended. Ensure staff use Paycor to locate and find all ViaQuest policies and procedures. And I will just review that with you so you know where to find those items, and then can show those that you supervise where to find them. Okay, so once you have logged into Paycor, you will hover over your profile in the upper right-hand corner. You will select Summary, and over on the left-hand side, under Summary, you will select Assignment. Under Assignment, you will then select Documents. This will bring up Employee Documents as the heading. You want the Resources tab, and here is where you will find all of the most recent, up-to-date ViaQuest policies, procedures, and forms. You may search using the search function, or you may also use the index to find the item that you're looking for. So please, again, yourself, please access the most recent information here, and encourage those that you supervise to also access this information here. We discourage against downloading forms to your computer and continuing to use them there. This is going to be where you find the most up-to-date information. Okay, ensure staff use HIPAA protections and security in their job duties and communications with others, as far as phone calls, texts, emails, and having professional conversations in all locations. Ensure all direct reports have supervision scheduled at minimum every 2 weeks or more often if needed. New hires must be weekly until after 90 days. Ensure that supervision is provided once a month in the location where clients are seen. Ensure that supervision notes are signed by the employee within 48 hours of the supervision date and put in electronic supervision binders. Maintain supervision notes and enter the supervisory binder within 5 days. Nurse managers will monitor this. Ensure that supervision is focused on work per policy, and you should be covering the following items: building rapport with your supervisee, following up on paperwork, setting timeframes for items due dates, following up with communication steps, discuss caseload and productivity, reviewing 2 progress notes during supervision, giving suggestions on how to improve clinical documentation, assist staff in learning, teaching, and reinforcing good clinical practices and documentation skills, review the individual development plan quarterly, and ensure a supervision contract is in place with each supervisee. These are required to be reviewed and updated annually. Review clinical audits, audit corrections, medical audit by staff reports, and items that need addressed or are coming due soon. review time management skills, review communication skills and knowing your audience, review email expectations as needed, such as not responding to emails, provide retraining as needed, review frequency of services, are all clients being seen according to the treatment plan, and then all items with an asterisk on the supervision form must be reviewed at least annually. So let me just show you what we're talking about here. So this is the nurse supervision form. Any of the items that have an asterisk are what need to be reviewed annually. So for example, documents here have an asterisk, reviewing two progress notes, so on and so forth, all would need to be reviewed at least annually. Okay, develop success plans as needed with approval from your supervisor in a timely manner. Document review of the success plan with staff and supervision. Return the signed copy to your supervisor and place in the supervisor binder. Ensure all meetings have agendas and meeting minutes are in place, are shared with your supervisor at the end of each month. Attend your weekly supervision, team meeting, and other meetings arranged by your region's leadership. Track your team's annual compliance. These are the mandatory trainings such as CPR, first aid, AEGIS, annual HR policy review. Submit a copy of your attendance, your certificate to your supervisor. Ensure annual PBS training and PAYCOR is completed. Follow up with nursing staff to ensure their trainings are completed. Okay, as far as the ViaQuest Culture Playbook, the ViaQuest Voice and Employee Recognition, please promote the ViaQuest Culture Playbook as well as our choice values with your team, and I will show you where to access that. Okay, so once you have logged into PAYCOR, from the home screen, you will find a link to the ViaQuest Culture Playbook. Once you click on it, you will have access to a full version of the ViaQuest Culture Playbook, and this is where you can review our choice values of customer service, humor, ownership, integrity, creativity, and excellence. So please, again, review that yourself, as well as review that with those that you supervise. Encourage your team to attend regional cultural crusaders events. Encourage your team to enroll and use ViaQuest Voice for updated information and connections to HR resources. ViaQuest Voice comes via text message from HR. So if your supervisees are not receiving those text messages, they may need to update their phone number with HR. Encourage and use CA Short, and the website for that is peopleareverything.com to celebrate your coworkers' successes, anniversaries, and birthdays. Please use e-cards regularly with your direct reports to reward the doers. And I will just show you very quickly what that looks like. Okay, so again, the website is peopleareverything.com. Once you have logged in, if you would like to send an e-card, you'll simply go on the left-hand side to send an e-card. You have many options as far as types of e-cards to send: birthdays, anniversaries, just general positivity e-cards, or you may send one of our values e-cards that represent customer service, integrity, creativity, excellence. And at your discretion, as a supervisor, you may attach points to that e-card. Employees then earn points, which they can then spend in this catalog for prizes. So please do positively reinforce those that you supervise for their efforts. We also want to celebrate our client successes as well and communicate those successes. So to do so, access and complete at least 2 client success stories per month. When updating contract sheets, include success stories when you can for each facility. Assigning cases and waitlist monitoring. Run a facility caseload report in SmartCare by logging in and going to My Work, My Reports, picking the facility you want to assign, and then click on View Reports. You will then give this caseload to your clinician to assign these clients to themselves. Clinical audits and follow-up. So this is the progress note audit we mentioned earlier in the process for it. Weekly progress note audits look like this. Every week, you will complete progress note reviews and document on LTC Nursing Audit Tracker. The audit spreadsheet for the ITP plan goals and objectives are in place. You'll review 5 notes for all new hires during the first 8 weeks of employment, or for staff who are demonstrating continued concerns. Review 2 notes for all ongoing staff every week. Check coding to make sure it matches time and medical necessity in notes. Make sure education is provided. Vitals are provided in the flow sheet. Treatment plan is up to date, remembering that it does need to be updated minimally every year. Notes that do not pass quality review need to be addressed with staff and documented in a supervision form and/or a success plan, depending on their prior performance. For QA internal chart audits, internal audits are sent to managers on Fridays. Managers will send to team leads by Monday at 1, so that staff get feedback on the audit, especially if there are positive notations. Re-education and/or corrections will need to be scheduled to take place within the week. This needs to be completed by Friday of the following week, and re-education corrections made will be documented on the employee supervision form. The team lead will email the manager that re-education and/or corrections have been made, and the manager will reach out on the original email to let the auditor know this has been taken care of. The time frame that is given is 2 weeks by the auditor. New hires, training, and shadowing. Discuss the need for a new position with manager, such as caseload, geographical location. The manager will approve position by posting in Paycor Recruiting. Update the LTC facility spreadsheet with the open position. Team leads are invited to interviews and can attend the interview with the hiring manager. It is not required, as the hiring manager has the authority to hire without feedback. Upon completion of orientation, ensure the new hire checklist has been turned into HR when completed within 30 days of hire date. Place a copy in the supervision folder. The hiring manager will send a calendar to the team lead 2 weeks before the new hire starts, and there will be dates and times that need to be filled in with nurses' names, times, addresses, and phone numbers for shadowing and orientation. Team leads will meet the new hire at the office before HR training starts on the first day. Introduce yourself and give them a tour of the office. Team leads will go over the schedule with the new hire to make sure they understand where they are going and who with. The team lead will send an agenda to the new hire and clinician that is being shadowed the night before with all the information they will need for the next day: addresses, phone numbers, time to meet, name of the clinician, and the team lead will reach out daily to the new hire to answer questions and make the experience seamless. And I will show you very quickly what we're talking about when we refer to this orientation schedule. Okay, so I will show you the template. This is very much a template. You can see here you will need to enter the address, the phone number of the office. Your CPR and Aegis may not be on Wednesday and Thursday, so that may need to be adjusted. These items all do need to occur as your new hire is going through the orientation. However, the order may be slightly different. Other things that are very important is to include the exact times of in-person smart care training, the exact location. There are sometimes suite numbers or room numbers that they need to be aware of. So please be sure that this is accurate to the best of your knowledge. And please check with your supervisor or with the trainer in your region if you are unsure exactly what to put for your new hires orientation calendar. Okay, credentialing, onboarding, and offboarding employees. Behavioral health hiring managers complete all credentialing paperwork and onboarding for nursing through the IT portal and will order via Quest equipment. The behavioral health hiring managers will coordinate closely with the team lead to ensure that the new hire has an accurate schedule for the first 30 days of orientation. Team leads for nursing are responsible for coordinating with the training manager to ensure that all new hires' calendars are complete and working with the training manager to establish any adjustment or fulfill any responsibilities. Nursing team leads should schedule 1 supervision during the first 2 weeks and complete supervision agreements and expectations, and an individualized development plan to support the employee's onboarding and growth. When an employee submits their resignation, please inform your supervisor and HR the same day. Prior to the last day of work, the supervisor should review the employee's work, documentation, and plan for documentation to be completed in a transition of client. This includes establishing that the staff or supervisor will contact their clients and discuss options for care, reassign cases to others or to yourself, and continue services or discharge accordingly. Ensure that LTC facilities are aware of the staff transition and communicate who will be providing the nursing coverage and the days they will be in the facility. On the final day of work, complete checks that all outstanding clinical documents have been completed, collect and turn in company equipment to IT, and all employees should be offboarded through the IT portal no later than the last day of work. Performance evaluations, annual training, and performance concerns. Complete annual employee performance evaluations in advance of the due date and submit the draft to supervisor prior to review with the employee. If needed, seek help from the manager. Reach out to staff to have them complete a self-evaluation for their annual performance evaluation. Send it to the manager to review before delivery. Set up an annual performance evaluation meeting with employees. Once the evaluation has been delivered to the employee, send the evaluation with all signatures to HR. CC your supervisor and include your salary raise recommendation. Your supervisor will approve the salary recommendation to HR or address any concerns. When there are work performance issues, please review with your next level supervisor by providing the pattern of behavior or concern, the policy that you believe is in violation, and documentation to support that the employee is aware of the expectation through attending new hire training, annual training, through supervision notes, success plans, so on and so forth. This documentation should be in the employee supervision files as well, so others can ensure the documentation is complete and thorough. Provide this information in writing to HR if you're requesting progressive discipline. HR will review and request additional information. Respond to these requests as soon as you can do so. HR will determine the level of performance coaching and prepare the documentation. Work with the HR manager to follow the next steps for the performance concern. There are times when a staff's access to certain ViaQuest platforms need to be restricted, such as when they are on a longer medical leave or there is an unclear work status. If you have a concern, please work with your HR manager and supervisor to communicate these concerns or situations. Submit an IT ticket to restrict access. For annual training, team leads will receive a monthly email from HR that lists clinicians' compliance date. Team leads will follow up with clinicians and facilitate them signing up for the correct class per the training schedule. So things like Aegis, CPR, license renewal, annual HR trainings, and so forth. So that completes this particular training on documentation and job-related reminders for nursing team leads. If you have any questions, please ask them to your supervisor or review this document or this training again if you need to. I hope it was helpful, and I appreciate your attention. Thank you.